Not because you need air, but because success requires clarity, and clarity begins in silence. Many people search for complex formulas, for secret strategies hidden in books, videos, and opinions of others. They spend years chasing multiple paths, hoping one will lead them to fulfillment. But often, the more roads we walk at once, the further we move from our destination. Today, I will not give you many rules. I will not ask you to change everything. Instead, I will ask you to remember one thing, one rule, one principle that, if you understand it deeply and apply it with sincerity, will transform the way you walk through life. Because success is not a mystery, it is not a privilege, it is a result, and results do not come from wanting. They come from understanding and from doing, so listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your mind, with your heart, and most importantly, with your discipline. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something that must be cultivated, like a seed that needs attention, patience, and repeated care. In the search for success, many people focus on motivation, hoping that inspiration will carry them through. But motivation is like the wind, it comes and goes, sometimes strong, sometimes absent. Discipline, however, is like the ground beneath your feet. It is steady, it is reliable, and it is always there when you return to it. Success is not achieved through bursts of energy followed by long periods of inactivity. It is earned through consistent, intentional effort, and that effort is only possible when discipline is present. Every time you decide to act in alignment with your goal, even when you don't feel like it, you strengthen your discipline. You are training your mind to listen to purpose rather than emotion. Emotions are temporary. Purpose is enduring, and discipline is the bridge that connects who you are now with who you are meant to become. Many people delay action while waiting for the right mood, the perfect condition, or an external push. But success doesn't wait for these things. Success belongs to those who act despite them. In the silence of early mornings, when the world is still asleep, there is a voice inside that whispers the truth. It tells you what you must do, and you can choose to listen, or you can choose to ignore it. Discipline is listening to that voice every day, no matter how loud the noise outside becomes. It's saying yes to what is necessary and no to what is easy. It's resisting the temptation of shortcuts and choosing the path of growth, even if it's longer, even if it's harder. Think about a blade that is sharpened by friction. It doesn't become strong through softness. In the same way, the mind becomes sharp through practice and resistance. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you rise after falling, every time you continue without applause, your discipline is being forged. This is how warriors train, not by accident, but through repetition, structure, and purpose. The path of discipline may seem rigid from the outside, but inside it gives you freedom, freedom from regret, freedom from chaos, freedom from being a slave to impulse. There is a difference between wanting and doing. Everyone wants something: success, peace, health, meaning. But few are willing to endure the process. And the process is not always exciting. It is often repetitive, quiet, and lonely. Discipline teaches you to respect the process, to find strength in the ordinary, and to build greatness from the small. Success is not a result of big, dramatic steps. It is built on thousands of small decisions, each one aligned with your higher goal, and these decisions are made possible by discipline. It is easy to set goals. Anyone can dream, but not everyone is willing to wake up early, to say no to distractions, to put in effort even when no one is watching. This is where the difference lies, not in talent, not in resources, but in discipline. The one who keeps going when others stop is not always the most gifted. They are the most trained. They are the ones who have chosen to obey their commitments rather than their emotions. Discipline also brings clarity. When your actions are structured, your mind becomes clear. You don't waste time in confusion because your path is set. You know what to do and you do it. This removes doubt and replaces it with direction. It removes chaos and replaces it with control. You stop negotiating with yourself and you begin to lead yourself. This internal leadership is the root of all external success. The world may test you, challenge you, and push you, but if you have trained discipline, you will not fall apart. The environment will not always support you. People may not always understand you, but your inner discipline can be the constant that carries you through every storm. When others panic, you stay grounded. When others hesitate, you move forward. When others look for excuses, you return to your routine. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You are not better than others. You are just anchored deeper. Anchored in purpose, in commitment, and in the one rule that separates the dreamers from the doers. There is power in doing what needs to be done, especially when it is not easy. There is strength in showing up again and again, even when the progress feels invisible. You are not just working toward a goal, you are becoming the kind of person who deserves that goal, and this becoming is shaped by discipline. It is not something you put on when people are watching. It is something you wear on the inside, quietly, always. Clarity of purpose is not found in noise. It is uncovered in stillness. In a world filled with endless opinions, distractions, and comparisons, clarity becomes a rare and powerful force. Without it, even the most motivated person can become lost. With it, even the simplest steps gain direction and momentum. Clarity is the inner compass that reminds you why you started and where you are going. When the path becomes difficult, unclear purpose makes you question your choices. But when your purpose is sharp, no obstacle is enough to turn you back. You may feel the weight, but you keep walking because you remember the reason. To find clarity of purpose, you must be willing to sit in silence and ask the questions that matter. What do you truly want? Why does it matter to you? What are you willing to sacrifice for it? These questions cannot be answered with haste. They require honesty, not the kind of honesty you show the world, but the kind that only exists when you are alone with your thoughts. Many people avoid this process because it is uncomfortable. It forces them to face their distractions, their fears, and the masks they wear. But if you are not clear on your purpose, every task becomes a burden, and every failure feels like defeat. Clarity simplifies your decisions. When you know your purpose, you don't need to overthink every step. You don't get pulled in 1,000 directions because you know what matters and what does not. The power to say no becomes stronger because you are no longer afraid of missing out. You are not chasing trends, applause, or approval. You are walking a path that belongs to you, and that gives you peace. You are not in competition with others because you are focused on your own mission. That focus sharpens your actions and protects your energy. Distractions are everywhere. They promise quick results, easy routes, and instant rewards, but they pull you away from your deeper purpose. Without clarity, distractions look like opportunities. With clarity, they look like noise. The more clear your purpose becomes, the more obvious the distractions appear. You stop giving your time to everything that is urgent and start giving your time to what is important. You stop being busy and you start being intentional. Purpose is not about doing more. It is about doing the right things consistently. Clarity removes the unnecessary so that your energy is directed where it truly matters. When your purpose is clear, it gives meaning to the struggle. Pain without purpose feels empty, but pain with purpose becomes fuel. Every setback becomes part of the process. Every failure becomes a lesson. You are no longer asking if it's worth it. You know it is. So you stop negotiating with your doubts and you start executing with discipline. You don't need to force motivation because clarity fuels your drive. You rise early not because someone told you to, but because your purpose calls you. You make sacrifices not because you enjoy suffering, but because your direction is more important than your comfort. Clarity of purpose also aligns your thoughts, words, and actions. You are no longer living in conflict with yourself. You don't say one thing and do another. You don't believe one thing and act differently. That inner harmony gives you power. It gives you integrity, and integrity is rare. It cannot be bought or faked. It is earned by walking your path with honesty and consistency. This alignment gives you calmness in pressure, strength in chaos, and a quiet confidence that does not need to be announced. Clarity also makes you resilient. When others lose motivation, you remain committed. When others change direction at the first sign of struggle, you hold your course. This doesn't mean the path is easy. It means you know why you are on it. You don't need to be the fastest. You just need to be the most committed. Because commitment born from clarity outlasts talent, luck, and circumstance. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. And it turns struggle into transformation. In the end, success is not about how much you do, but how well you align what you do with what truly matters to you. If you are clear on your purpose, you will not waste years climbing the wrong mountain. You will not measure your life by someone else's standard. You will not confuse movement with progress. You will stay rooted, intentional, and unshakable. You will stop chasing everything and start becoming something. And that change, though invisible to the world at first, will shape everything that follows. Consistency in small actions may not appear impressive at first, but over time, it becomes the hidden force behind extraordinary results. It is not the dramatic gestures that shape your destiny, but the quiet routines you repeat when no one is watching. Many people underestimate the power of small steps repeated daily because they are looking for instant transformation. But lasting success is not built in moments of intensity. It is built in moments of repetition. What you do once in a while shapes your mood, but what you do every day shapes your life. Each time you show up for your goal, even in the smallest way, you are sending a message to yourself that this matters. You are training your mind to prioritize growth, to develop patience, and to respect the process. The world often rewards fast, loud victories, but what it does not see are the hours of effort done in silence, the early mornings, the disciplined choices, the quiet refusals of distraction. These are the bricks that build strong foundations, and without them, no success can stand for long. Small actions may feel insignificant, but when compounded over time, they become unstoppable momentum. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every day to check its growth. You water it, you give it sunlight, and you wait. The same principle applies to progress. Consistency requires faith in the unseen. It demands that you show up again and again, trusting that the effort you put in today will bloom tomorrow. Impatience breaks this process. Doubt weakens it, but consistency nurtures it, and over time, what once felt invisible becomes undeniable. This is how mastery is formed, not through talent alone, but through disciplined repetition. Consistency also trains your nervous system. It teaches your body and mind to adapt to pressure, to endure boredom, and to operate even without external motivation. Some days will be filled with energy, others with resistance, but the consistent person moves forward in both conditions. They don't wait to feel ready, they don't ask if it's easy, they simply commit. This removes the emotional weight of decision making. There is no more question of whether to act. Action becomes identity. You are no longer trying, you are becoming. Inconsistency often comes from overestimating the importance of one day and underestimating the power of many. People quit because they don't see results fast enough. But change is not a single event, it is a slow build. It is one good choice followed by another, one honest effort followed by another. Progress does not announce itself with loud noise, it creeps in slowly, until one day you look back and realize everything is different. Your mind is sharper, your body is stronger, your habits are aligned, and it all began with one small action you decided to repeat. The human mind is shaped by patterns. What you repeat, you become. So if you want to change who you are, change what you consistently do. Create small rituals that move you forward, protect them, defend them from the noise and temptation that tries to steal your time. These rituals may feel small, 10 minutes of training, 5 pages of reading, a few moments of reflection, but they build your discipline, your focus, and your identity. Each act reinforces your commitment. Each day becomes a statement of who you are choosing to be. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. When you keep your word to yourself repeatedly, your confidence grows. You no longer rely on the approval of others because you know you are reliable. You know that no matter how chaotic life becomes, you will show up. This creates a sense of stability and inner peace. You stop breaking promises to yourself, and in doing so, you repair something inside that inconsistency had damaged. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through. Life will always test your commitment. There will be delays, failures, and moments of doubt, but consistency is the anchor that keeps you steady through all of it. It is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to keep walking through it. It is not about never falling, but about always rising. Every time you repeat your practice, even in difficulty, you are building something far greater than success. You are building character, and character is what sustains success when the initial excitement fades. The greatest transformations do not happen overnight. They happen quietly, over time, through small, repeated choices. This is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is not fast, but it is real. And when it becomes who you are, no setback can take it away. Consistency in small actions becomes the rhythm of your progress. It becomes the heartbeat of your discipline. It becomes the evidence of your commitment, the foundation of your strength, and the silent builder of a life that is unshakable. Inner alignment between thought, word, and action is the highest form of integrity and the purest expression of personal power. When a person's thoughts are clear, their words are honest, and their actions reflect both, a deep sense of peace and purpose emerges. This alignment is not something that happens by chance. It is created through self-awareness, discipline, and deliberate practice. Many people experience internal conflict not because they lack ability, but because their thoughts say one thing, their words say another, and their actions say something else entirely. In such a state, the energy becomes divided, and divided energy is weak. When your inner world is in harmony, decisions become easier. There is no battle between what you want to do and what you actually do. You stop hesitating and you start flowing. Your energy is not wasted in self-doubt, excuses, or justifications. It is focused entirely on forward motion. This kind of alignment brings strength because you are no longer fighting against yourself. There is no need for external validation because your own actions reflect your truth. You are no longer performing for the world. You are living from the inside out. The first step to this alignment is mastering your thoughts. The mind is constantly speaking. It offers beliefs, assumptions, doubts, fears, and hopes, but not all of it is true. A disciplined person becomes a watcher of their thoughts, not a slave to them. They choose which thoughts to feed and which to let go. They learn to recognize the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of clarity. When the mind becomes focused and intentional, it sets a clear tone for the words and actions that follow. Words hold power, but they mean nothing if they are not supported by action. Many people say what sounds good but live in contradiction to their speech. This disconnect creates inner tension. It weakens trust, not only from others, but from the self. Every time you say something you don't mean, or commit to something you don't follow through on, you chip away at your inner strength. But when your words are deliberate and your actions fulfill them, you build a sense of wholeness. Others may admire it, but more importantly, you feel it within yourself. There is no need to prove anything because you are already in harmony. Action is the most visible expression of alignment. It is where ideas become real. Thought and speech are important, but without action, they remain potential. It is in the doing that transformation takes place. When your actions support your inner values and beliefs, your life gains momentum. There is clarity in movement, and movement strengthens belief. A person who acts in alignment with their thoughts and words is not easily shaken because they have removed confusion. They know who they are, and they prove it through what they do consistently. This alignment creates resilience. When setbacks occur, you do not fall into self, doubt because your foundation is stable. You don't crumble under pressure because your strength comes from truth. You are not pretending, you are not hoping. You are living in accordance with your deepest convictions. This makes you dangerous to excuses, immune to distractions, and firm in storms. You are no longer driven by external outcomes. Whether things go well or not, you stay steady because your alignment is not conditional. Inner alignment also frees you from the noise of the outside world. You no longer need to react to every opinion, comment, or criticism. You are not living to please anyone. You are living in service of your own path. This does not make you arrogant. It makes you clear. You are not better than others. You are simply focused. And that focus comes from knowing that your inner compass is set, and you are honoring it with every step you take. When thoughts, words, and actions are unified, you become whole. There is no part of you left in conflict. No energy wasted in pretending. No confusion about who you are. This wholeness is powerful because it cannot be manipulated or shaken. It does not rise and fall with praise or blame. It is steady, grounded, and self-generating. From this state, you do not need to chase success. You attract it by the clarity and consistency of your being. This level of alignment is rare in a world that rewards appearances, but it is the only path to real fulfillment. It brings a sense of quiet confidence, not because you believe you are perfect, but because you know you are honest. You are not torn between the person you want to be and the person you are. You have become one with your purpose, and you live it daily. This is not about perfection. It is about integrity. It is about creating a life where there is no gap between what you think, what you say, and what you do. And that kind of life radiates a strength that speaks without noise and moves without force. When all these principles come together, discipline as your foundation, clarity of purpose as your guide, consistency in your actions as your fuel, and inner alignment as your source of power, you no longer chase success blindly. You embody it. You stop relying on external circumstances to define your worth or direction, and instead, you create a life rooted in intentional effort, unwavering focus, and personal truth. The one rule for success is not found outside of you. It begins within. And once you commit to mastering yourself, every step forward becomes a reflection of that mastery.